I know it as an assignment of contracts. And I was like, wait, so you're telling me I don't have to own the property? I don't have to put my own money. I don't have to use my own credit to buy these properties, and I can make, $10,000. I'm in.
Right.
You're listening to the We.L.E.R.E. Real Estate Show, a podcast that discusses the intricacies of real estate investing with your host, Marcus E. Maloney. Marcus is a real estate investor best known for being the equity king. He's been awarded that moniker because he and his team find amazing real estate deals. He will be talking with investors who have done some transformational things in the real estate industry. They'll discuss their process, their strategies, and how their investments transform their lives and the communities they invest in. We welcome you to the We.L.E.R.E. Real Estate Show.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the We.L.E.R.E. Real Estate Show. And on today, we have Ron Rana from Houston, Texas. Everything is bigger and down in Texas, so he's doing big things. I wanted to bring him on the show. He is a wholesaler from Houston. He started Investopia. He's doing plenty of things. He was just in Yahoo Finance. So Ron, man, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being here with us.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Ron Rana, out of Houston, Texas. Marcus, thank you so much for having me on your show. I am truly humbled. And like I said, thank you so much for the honor of being on your show. I wish I created Investopia. That's a different company, different website.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's Investopia Online. Yes,
gotcha.
That's my company. It sounds like Investopia, but that's a multi-billion-dollar. I think they're multi-billion-dollar corporation down there, so they wouldn't like me claiming it.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, wow, all right, Ron is really doing some things here.
Oh yeah, there you go. This guy looks too young to be Investopedia. Let me. Awesome.
Right,
well, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's an honor. I guess the tables have turned because I run the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. I'm the interviewer normally, but I always love being interviewed on podcasts. I get featured on many podcasts. And yours is one that I have been looking forward to because I have heard a lot of good things about it. So thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you for all of the high praise. I really appreciate it. I am humbled, man. So let's dig right in. Let's get started, man. Give us a little bit of your entrepreneurial background. I know you was a car salesman and everything like that. Give us the backstory for those who don't know.
Yeah, I used to be a slime ball. Then I woke up and car guys are all slime balls, right? That's the stigma that a lot of the guys have in the car industry. So yep. Absolutely, right? Ron Rana, born and raised out of Houston, Texas. I was raised by a single mother of 4, okay? Through real estate, I was able to, retire my mother, basically, live the life that I always wanted to live. My background is I come from the automobile industry, and I spent 11 years in the car business. So a lot of my hustle and bustle comes from the auto industry. I've been wholesaling now for a little over 3.5 years, right? When you look back at it, it doesn't look like a long time, but it looks like I've been in the industry for over 30 years. I've collaborated with some of the biggest names in the industry. I'm blessed enough to be known as a big name in the industry, and we're just out there putting food on the plate. First and foremost, I'm a father, right? I'm a husband, and I'm a son before anything. At the end of the day, right? We've got 2 beautiful boys. We've got one on the way that we just found out about. So we're excited.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. We're excited about that one. So yeah, I honestly come from very humble beginnings. I grew up in the hood. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I wanted to go out there and just make a difference for my family. I didn't expect coming into this industry where I would, I'd come in and I'd do this, and this, because now it's a whole different story. I own a call center in the Philippines. I have a very successful 7-figure wholesaling company out here in Houston. We're in multiple markets. I run 2 successful networking events out here in Houston. And we have so much stuff going on. The podcast. We now launched our educational platform, which I'm sure you're going to talk about a little bit towards the in the podcast. So, but yeah, we're excited about it. Like I said, it's been, a little over 3 years, and I wanted to come in and just put food on the plate, but then I looked at this as an opportunity for myself and for, my family, just growing in this industry and be able to provide back to the community. Because when I got into this industry, the stigma is the gurus and the mentors and the, hey, spend $60,000 with me and you don't get my phone number, you get my assistant's phone number. So right. I'm very, very anti-guru. So when it comes down to it, I'm all about delivering results. But yeah, we've done, I'll go into what my company is, Investopia Online. We wholesale everything from single family homes, apartment complexes, mobile, land.
Wait. Slow down, Ron, because I know you got a lot on your plate, man. You're giving us a lot, man.
We do so much.
Right. And that's one of the things that I was listening to before and prepping for the show, man, because I've been following you and I'm seeing that you're, wholesaling multifamily units and all of that kind of stuff. Give us that humble beginning, man, that first deal. How did that transpire? How did you transition from the car industry over to real estate?
So the first deal is always, it's kind of like your first girlfriend. You never forget her, right?
Yep.
You never forget her, right? No matter how many you have after that, it's like, man, I remember that one. Because that first relationship teaches you how to build all the other relationships and that foundation. So the first deal, when I first got started, I still remember to this day, I was sitting at my desk at the dealership and I was just searching the MLS, searching the multiple listing service for deals, because I thought, after talking to a few people in my market, I thought that the deals were on the MLS, and then watching YouTube videos. And where do you go to buy real estate, right? I mean,
Yep.
It doesn't take it's not rocket science. You go to the MLS to buy real estate. So I thought that's how you actually do this business, is that, okay, I'm going to shoot offers. Let's do a shot in the dark and let's see how it sticks. So my first deal was off the MLS. Okay. And I started calling realtors because I knew if I wanted an insight in this industry, I got to talk to the people who are cooking in this business, right? If I want a job in the donut, if I want a job in a restaurant, I got to become a chef first. Right. If I want to do this business, I got to talk to the people who are daily in this business. And I don't know, at this point, I don't know anything about real estate. Like, hey, I started calling up realtors and say, I'm a local investor in the Houston market. I'm looking to buy properties. Send me what you have. Right. That's all I was doing at the end of the day. Okay. The first deal, when I went to it, I remember it was an absolute disaster. It was crazy. So I go there. I've got a little property information sheet, which I downloaded off of, Google. Roof check, AC check. I look like the
home inspector, huh?
The home inspector, right? So, and I look pretty professional. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it looked like I knew what I was doing. I had the check marks, check. And the guy, the realtor, was actually pretty impressed by what I was doing. And he's like, hey, how long have you been doing this? Oh, sometime now. It was my first. I didn't want to be like, hey, this is literally my first hour doing this.
Right.
So he's like, I like that. Okay, cool. Keep going, do what you do. I'm like the house was smaller, the first house that I went to. So I was able to get on top of the roof. I'm literally on top of the roof and I don't know what I'm looking at, but
I'm laughing, Ron, because one of my first independent deals, that's what I did, man. I climbed up on the seller's van and got on the roof, and I'm walking around the roof and I'm like, what are you looking for?
I don't know, but I'm looking. I'm doing what I'm doing, right? So It's so funny. on that. Now that deal was it was a flooded house. So I knew kind of the basics, the mold, and ask about the mold, ask about the flooding. I made it more about the flooding than I did about the house, which made me sound like more of a professional, right? Yep. So, because I didn't know what to ask about the house at the end of the day. Okay, roof good, AC, how's the foundation? You know, now it's a whole different story. We can go in and dissect. I can literally almost smell a house probably a block away if it's got mold in it. We've been through so many houses like that now, right? Yep. But back then it wasn't like that. Long story short, Marcus, that deal did not work out. Okay, that deal didn't work out.
So why?
Things work. That deal did not work out. The realtor calls me and says, "Hey, I've got another deal you might want to take a look at." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, all right, cool." Like,
so hold on, Ron. Why didn't? For one, let me say this, because wholesalers getting started, they always think that it's wholesalers versus realtors. And I always tell people, you have to work with your realtors, though they are, you know, an integral part of this business. You can work with them, even if it's disposition. You know, they'll help move your deals. They'll help bring you deals if they know that you're actively doing things. So guys, you hear from Ryan, you hear from me. Realtors are definitely your friend. There are some that shun, you know, wholesalers because they believe that, you know, you're taking food off of their plate. But if it's a realtor that have an abundance mindset, they know, hey, this is an opportunity for them to work with you. So that's that with the realtor. So now, why didn't that deal go through? What happened, Ron?
I offered too low.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's why it didn't work out. I had no idea, you know. I learned on YouTube University, right? Say, hey, 70% minus ARV, minus repair, minus assignment fee. I'm like, would you take 35 grand for the house? He looks at me like, what? No, man. It's like a $230,000 house, and you offer me 30 grand. Yeah, it's flooded. We got the rehab. I said, okay, well, no problem. If you have anything else, just let me know. But going back to what you're saying, this is a people business, not a real estate business. You need to create a relationship with people in order to be successful. That's what I have done, and that's what's made me uber successful doing this. Is I built relationships with people, you know, with realtors, with contractors, with home inspectors, right? Hell, I built relationships with my mailman, right? I used to go around driving for dollars. Anytime I saw a mailman, hey, if you see any properties with the tall grass, you know, the whole 9 yards, right? Tall grass, tarp on the roof, the mailbox full, I'll give you $1,000 for each property that we close on. $1,000 to mailmen are pretty big amount of money. I mean, the government's not paying, you know, them a diddly squat anyway. So they're like, yeah. So I've done many deals with mailmen, postal, you know, post office individuals. So it's about building relationships with people to create a win-win-win situation. Till this day, we work with realtors. Now, pocket listings, the whole laws about pocket listings, it has changed. I think that went into effect about a year ago or so. But again, we do a lot of deals with realtors. I won't say we don't do any pocket listings, would be untrue. We do we still do a lot of pocket listing deals because realtors know and trust us. And we put more money than 3% in their pocket. They still make more money. And the realtor's like, hey, I'm happy with the deal, right? And then when we wholesale it, we have sometimes in our contract that that realtor gets to list the property for the buyer, and the buyer's okay with that because now they have a vetted realtor. They don't have to go out and look for a realtor and stuff like that. So there's so many ways to skin the cat. But yeah, going back to that story, the first house didn't work out. He calls me on the second property, and my first deal, we were able to do it, and I only made $5,000 on that deal, and I only needed $5,000 to show me that this works. I was sold and I was hooked.
Sweet. So guys, don't always look for that massive home run on your first deal. If you make some money, it's proof of concept. It lets you know that this absolutely works. So Ron, tell me about a difficult situation that you faced when you was getting started to where you said, you know what, I don't know if this is for me.
You know, I think the difficult situation came when I started looking for guidance and mentorship, because everybody wants to charge you the $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to mentor you, right? When I got first started in this business, I didn't have I didn't come in with a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of money. I was still, the credit was there, but I didn't utilize my credit or anything like that, because here's the deal. Like, if I was going to do this, I wanted to first see if it worked or not before I can do anything else. As far as, like, pulling HELOCs or credits,
Right.
or anything like that. Like, and I didn't have $15,000 even to spend for a mentor, but I knew I had the hustle and the grind. The biggest thing was finding the right person who was doing the business right, and doing it in my market. I wanted to find somebody local because there were so many people out there. And of course, I bought programs. I did buy programs. I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't. The first time ever that I even heard about wholesaling, it used to be called assignment of contracts, and that was by Carlton Sheets.
Okay. Yeah, that was a while ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah. So when I was 16, 17, probably 18 years old, probably about 16 or 17, I remember getting some video cassettes of Carlton Sheets. He's the true OG of late night infomercials.
Yeah. Yep.
He's now passed away, so rest in peace to him. But he was the first person to actually talk about assignment of contracts, who I heard about from. And now wholesaling is the cool kid on the block, right? But I know it as an assignment of contracts. And I was like, wait, so you're telling me I don't have to own the property? I don't have to put my own money. I don't have to use my own credit to buy these properties, and I can make, $10,000? I'm in.
Right. So why did you decide wholesaling versus, since you had the credit, why didn't you, go and try and buy a house and be a landlord? Why go down the wholesale route?
I spoke to a lot of investors that were doing that. Now my bug was the biggest bug I had was networking. I knew I had to network with so many people in order for me to get anywhere. So for I'm telling you, for 2 years straight, every single day almost, I would be either meeting with investors or I would be at a networking event. In Houston, before COVID-19 hit, we would probably have maybe 3 networking events a week. So I was at almost every single networking event, right? And I was serious about building my business. So my wife and I, we would go to networking events together every single day, trying to learn the business, sit in classrooms, right? Buy the $800 a weekend seminars, sit in that, and then come to find out they were upselling a $6,000 mentorship, right? And of course, if you don't got it, you don't got it. I mean, I wasn't stupid when I got into this business. I was in the car business for a very long time, so I knew not to tap into my credit line yet in order to do that. So I wanted to do it, cash is king, and I wanted to get started that way. I was never, I didn't want to, if I screwed this up, I didn't want my credit to be screwed up, because I've seen a lot of 300 beacons walk into the dealership. So I know how it is.
And they looking for the Mercedes, but can't even afford the Honda Accent, huh?
Absolutely. We used to call it, they got a champagne taste on a beer budget.
Yep. That's it. So you and your wife, you guys were going out doing a ton of networking and everything like that. So you got this first deal, you made the $5,000. After that, what happened? Ron?
So that $5,000, I had to split with a local mentor, by the way. So I only got $2,500 out of that deal.
Okay. Cha-ching, you made some money.
I made some money, but it was enough to solidify this actually works, right? Yep. So, and that was my biggest thing. I'm sorry, what was your question again?
I said, what was next? After you close that first transaction, okay, this works. I have $2,500 in my pocket that verified that this works. What did you do next?
I went to go find my next deal, because before that first deal, I had already quit cold turkey. I don't recommend people doing it, but I was the one who actually quit cold turkey. No deals under my belt, okay? But I had to take that risk because I was uber desperate to get out of the auto industry. Marcus, I was spending 14 hours a day in the car business for many years. I started out in sales. I went to the sales desk, right? I was sold one of the biggest lies that you can be sold on, which was you move up the corporate ladder and things get easier. Life did not get easier, right? I thought making $100,000 a year was phenomenal money. But when you start making that a month, especially in real estate, it's a whole different ballpark, right?
Yeah.
I walked away from 401k. I walked away from insurance, family health insurance. I walked away from basically the security blanket. I had quit cold turkey. I had no choice but to find my next deal. That was it. That literally was it.
So you had that desperation, and that's what a lot of people, they don't get to, you know, because they say, okay, well, I got to have this backup plan. I got to have something to fall back on. But when you don't have anything to fall back on, you just have to make it work. And that's what it sounds like that you did, was you made it work. So that second deal, what did it look like?
I don't even remember my second deal. I remember my first. I'm so sorry. I don't remember my second deal.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you. I remember my first deal. Again, it's just like your first girlfriend. You remember the first one. The rest of them are just like, hey, whatever, right? So now I can tell you the feeling when I closed my $2.6 million apartment deal. I do remember that the first time I did it. The first time I did a multifamily deal.
We're gonna definitely dig into that, because a lot of people think that wholesaling is just for single families, but that's absolutely not the case. You know, there's big money in the multifamily flipping as well. So what are you doing, Ron, as far as some of your marketing strategies? What are you doing to find deals, to secure deals? And then we're going to talk about like your team.
Okay, cool. I have always been a fan of keeping it lean. Right. I have made the mistakes of spending, you know, the $40,000 a month in marketing and seeing what sticks and tracking my KPIs, because I'm very analytical. If you didn't notice, I'm brown, I'm Pakistani. We got an IT background, so we track IT. We track everything, right?
I know this just from our start. So
I'm just saying, like, I was trained from such an early age to count your count your rice, like how much food do I got, like, you know. I wasn't raised with a silver spoon. I've always I've always been kind of like keeping it lean, especially in the auto industry. You know, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, that really humbles you to be like, hey, can I really go out and buy a plane now? Can I really go out and do this? Or you can't do any of that, right? You can't just wake up and be like, let's go to the Bahamas because we feel like it, right? You just can't. So my mind was already conditioned to kind of be lean as far as doing that. So, you know, I think some of the biggest things is, you know, when I was marketing, I was definitely cold calling. So cold calling was number one. Like, I knew that cold calling works, and I wanted to get in front of people. And I was always big on bandit signs. So we were running for about a year straight. We were running 10,000 bandit signs a month. 10,000. Wow. It came out to 300 a night. And believe me, the city lit up my phone like a Christmas tree. They knew, you know, but we always sent them a Christmas card, so we're all right. So, so I did a lot of bandit signs, and I did a lot of cold calling. I did dabble into direct mail, but honestly, I noticed with direct mail, it didn't really give me the ROI that I wanted, and it wasn't really direct to settle almost immediately, right? And then came around text messaging, which I love now, texting, and then RVM, right? There are legal boundaries, legal guidelines for a ringless voicemail. So we've tested that out, but yeah, getting to those different levels, it is you're gonna get to that next level. It's gonna come, right? So now we're doing, you know, 25 grand a month, 30 grand a month in marketing. You know, pre-COVID, we were doing that, and then we're all about cutting the fat, right? Tracking our KPIs. Hey, if direct mail is not working, let's move to cold calling, etc. I love cold calling so much. I built my own call center in the Philippines. So we cold call for other investors also. And about 70% of those investors are in my market in Houston. So that speaks on my character, right? They trust me with their leads. They know we're not going to take their leads. It's about respect. It's about having a certain level of professionalism, right? And we cold call for investors all over the country. And it's fun. We love it. And I tell people all the time is when you're getting started in real estate, cold calling is definitely one. And then texting. And then the most important, if you don't have any income generating right now, driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is one of the best ways you can generate leads almost instantly, especially now with the apps that come out. I know PropStream has an app now for driving for dollars. and we love it. So
yeah, we just did a webinar with PropStream as far as their platform, man, and I've been telling a lot of the people that I work with, go try it out. 7-day free trial, see if it's something that you like. But I mean, the platform is just awesome.
PropStream is the industry's #1 tool for locating distressed properties and connecting with highly motivated sellers. With 100% coverage across the U.S., PropStream provides a deep dive into any property's specific details, making it easy to generate lists of distressed properties and contact to the owners. No other product or service can compare. Gain access to MLS property details like expired listings. You can pull accurate comps, even sale prices in non-disclosure states. This information is typically reserved for licensed real estate professionals, but it is also available to you in PropStream. Gain access to unlimited nationwide property search, comparable home sales, targeted marketing lists, and owner contact lookup, built-in marketing tools, hundreds of filters to search and sort leads. Start your free 7-day trial now by going to proud.propstreampro.com/WeLoveEquity.
So you're doing cold calling, text messaging, and you believe that cold calling is your best ROI right now.
I can almost guarantee your cold calling will be your best ROI unless you own a direct mail company, because your cost is super high. When you're doing 30,000 mailers a month, 30 to 40,000 mailers a month, it gets up there. And then any marketing that you do, I would like to tell your viewers, consistency is key. We used to tell people pre-COVID, hey, run a marketing for 30 days. I'm sorry, for 90 days, 3 months, 90 days. Now, due to COVID, I always tell people 6 months. If you pick RVM, if you pick cold calling, if you pick direct mail or bandit signs, you need to be at least consistent for the next 6 months, okay, in order for it to give you the proper numbers that you're looking for. And what a lot of people do is they do it for a week. Oh, it doesn't work. Or they do it for, 2 months. Oh, it doesn't work for me. I don't like it. It doesn't, right. I didn't get my money back, or I didn't get any phone calls, right? I tell people this all the time. All marketing channels work. The question is, do you work?
That's right. That's right. Because like you said, consistency is key. They'll start with direct mail and say, okay, well, I didn't get no calls. Now I'm going to go to text messaging. Okay, I was getting some responses on the text messaging, but the people wasn't really interested. So now I'm going to try cold calling. And then you're just bouncing around from marketing channel to marketing channel, wasting money, actually. So guys, listen to what Ron said. You have to be consistent. Make sure you have that budget outlined for a minimum of 6 months. So you need to have 6 months of money, of cash, to pay for your campaign. If it's text messaging, cold calling, direct mail, whatever it is, you got to have that consistency in order to get a deal. Because I remember when I started, it took me like 8-9 months in order to get that first deal, but I was consistently putting that marketing out, consistently doing it. And then it finally popped for me, and it's been going, ever since. So tell us about, Ron, you're doing the cold calling. You have the cold calling center there. Give us some background. How did that get started? And what do you offer for those people that are looking to get started with cold calling?
Yeah, so you talked about, keeping it lean and what my operation kind of looks like. COVID-19 has been it's been really a blessing for a lot of people. I'll be honest with you, Marcus. COVID-19 has probably been one of the best things that's happened to us, because it taught a lot of the guys on top a lot of humility, right? It teaches you, hey, what am I going to do now? Those guys who were saying, I'm doing 80 deals a month, right? Or I'm doing 60 deals a month. Where are they now? Some of them have operations that have been like shut down, right? It's because they don't learn to pivot and adapt. Okay. What I did was, during COVID-19, right, my COO was like, Ron, listen, man, the market's going to go down. We all thought it, right? For the first 2 weeks, like, holy shit, like we're gone. Like, this is done. This is like 2008. Let's pack up, right? Get the U-Hauls, come out of the office, pack everything up, right? Send everyone home. I'm so glad like this thing happened. It couldn't be the best. It could not be the best thing ever, because Here's what happened. We have a team in the Philippines that are our virtual assistants, like my employees. Okay. What I did was when COVID hit, probably about a month after COVID hit, right? I have them all on salary. They're still getting paid. They're doing what they're doing, right? Because I treat my VAs like family. My VAs have been with me for almost, I know Frances, who's my VA manager, she oversees 10 of our VAs. She's been with me for almost over a year and a half now. It's almost 2 years, and that's huge. Having a VA with you that long, is pretty awesome, man. I know
it speaks of your level of commitment to that VA and their level of commitment to want to work with you that long.
Right. And it's about having a family together. So we currently have about 10 clients. We have 10 VAs. And those VAs were working for me when we were cold calling, right? So they're cold calling. Remember, we went from cold calling for me, and then I basically pivoted and I put those VAs now, instead of firing them, I said, you know what, guys, let's build a call center. How badass would that be? Let's keep your jobs. I'm not going to sit here and fire anybody. I'm not a fan of doing that. I'm not going to do that, because in my gut feeling, I knew I was providing somebody to send their kids to private school. I knew I was providing somebody to put food on the plate, because you have to understand, these people in the Philippines, they don't have what we have here in the States. We have it so great here in this country, and a lot of people will say, oh, this is the worst country, this is that, blah 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 blah. You can talk all you want.
Go somewhere else.
Politics all you want. Listen, when you have a country where you can literally do anything you want, I can go to a fast food restaurant, or I can go to a diner restaurant, or like a luxury type. If I want to go get filet mignon, I can do that. In the Philippines, they can't do that. They don't have the luxury to do that, right? Buying a motorcycle in the Philippines only costs $2,000 US dollars, $2,000 US dollars, right? It's crazy. Like 2,000 for us is it's like nothing, right?
Yeah.
If you look at it, but for them, it's a mode of transportation. So we have it so good. All we did was we pivoted and adapted. I took my virtual assistants from Investopia Online. We moved it over to call virtuals, right? We still have our VAs calling for our company, okay? And then we separated and we just grew from there. And I have trained now my VAs who've been with me all my VAs have been with me for over a year. Francis is the only one that's been with me almost 2 years. So, so all of my VAs, they've been vetted and they've been trained like a car sales guy, because I used to train car sales guys. So I've trained them how to talk on the phone, how to, the different dialects. We train people on dialects, right? We train people on, so whenever we do an interview, for example, the reason a lot of people ask me, why don't you use VAs in India? Is because not that I don't prefer it. It's just, it just doesn't work out for me, right? Gotcha. So basically, when I'm doing an interview and a VA says, we tell them to spell cookie, right? And the VA says COOKIE. And if they say double O, that's not how we talk here in the US.
Right.
I want to hear the COOKIE.
Mm-hmm.
So those little tricks and tips might help someone out listening to this podcast. If they want to interview a VA, you might want to look out for stuff like that, because I've had VAs who work for, Microsoft, they work for a bedding company, they work for Delta Airlines. I've got one of my top VA used to work for Delta Airlines. She is an absolutely beast. And I love her. Again, she has an accent, but her accent is a UK accent, which she has adapted. So that's one thing that I love about about her. And it's about building rapport. At the end of the day, you got to build rapport with sellers, and that's what I've taught my VAs, to build rapport with sellers, because people do business with people they like and trust. And then we pass the lead off to the investor. We do the little, the quarterback thing.
Okay.
And we have people having phenomenal success with call virtuals. That's the name of the company, callvirtuals.com. We have investors who have come in we started the company probably about 4 months ago. Within the first month, we have clients locking in $30,000 Simon fee deals. $20,000 deals, $60,000 deals. It's crazy. So again,
so let me ask you this, Ron. How deep and in depth do you have your VAs to go when they're on the phone with a seller? Are they just getting naturally they're building rapport, and then they're getting the preliminary information about the property, and then they're passing it off to the investor? Kind of walk us through that scenario briefly without going too far deep in depth.
No, sure. I'm an open book. Ask me. I can go in depth as much as you like. No worries. So we do have a script. So basically we have a pre-qualifying script. Okay. Pre-qualify the seller. Then we have our qualifying questions. Okay. And then we also set up the next phone call for the investor, right? So it goes something like this. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Seller. We've got all the information that we needed. Now, to reiterate, it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,500 square foot, 5,000 lot. You said the foundation needs repair, and you are looking for X amount of dollars. Great. Let me speak to my partner. Okay. Remember, set a higher authority. Yep. Even though the VAs are VAs, it's a partner because the seller doesn't know who it is, right? Let me speak to my partner, and my partner will actually call you back and get back to you in regards to this. So we kind of set it up for the investor to go in and pick up the conversation from there. And there's a script, there's questions that we ask the sellers, so that way our client doesn't have to go back and ask those questions. Now, if they want to reiterate the question and confirm it, they can. But yeah, we've had clients have given us feedback and said, man, you guys got all the information that we were going to ask. So it was easier for us to just say, hey, okay, we're great. We're good on a number here. Would you, they'll go into their negotiation tactics. Right. We'll send you a contract. And so we complete probably about 80% of the conversation for the investor. All they're doing is they're just going in and negotiating a number. That's it.
Wow, that's perfect. That's good. That's good. So we talked about the call center. We talked about some marketing. We talked about your first deal. Now let's talk about these higher level deals, man, that you're doing, like the $2.6 million apartment complex and stuff like that. How did you find that deal, and what gave you the gall to say, we're going to go in, we're going to negotiate this thing and wholesale it? We're just that bad. We're going to do it.
Awesome. So that really it's a leap of faith. That's when it comes down to it, you got to take a leap of faith. Because when I first started wholesaling, Marcus, I didn't know if I was going to be successful or not. There was no guarantee. Yep. There's no guarantee, right? And to be honest, I wanted to look into multifamily, right? I didn't have the $60,000 to invest for that's for single family. For multifamily, people actually charge $100,000. I've seen people who charge $100,000 to mentor on what to find out what NOI cap rate is and how to do all of that. I didn't have the money, so guess what I did, Marcus? I jumped right in. I said, let's do a deal. I'm gonna learn as I go. How do I do this?
Yep, that's it. So that's it.
That's all I did. I just said, multifamily deal. Okay, cool. How we got the deal was a referral. Okay. The seller was actually selling another property. A previous seller was selling a property. He was an apartment seller. We didn't work out a deal with him. He had a buddy who was selling his property. He referred us to him, and we ended up doing that deal, not the first deal. Again, building relationships with people. This is what it's about. We did so much on that deal. I remember that every time we went out to go show that property to our potential sellers, again, partners, I would always take a Starbucks gift card for the manager, for the property manager. Speaks volumes. $25 gift card. Yep. Come on, man. Ridiculous. It's such a small amount, a minuscule amount when you're doing a, over 7-figure deal. Right. So just to make her comfortable. And she was so accommodating. Every time I'd call her, hey, Mr. Ron, oh, you're coming by today again? Okay, cool. No worries. Come on in. I got you and blah, blah, blah. So we got that as a referral, which was pretty awesome.
So Ron, that's real quick, guys, that's something key, even with your single families, because when you're bringing your partners through, it's a disruption, especially if somebody is living there, or even if it's not, somebody have to take their time out of the day to come over, let you and your partners in to walk the property. And that's something that we do. We always bring a small little token of our appreciation, hey, thank you for taking this time out, although it's just, half an hour. an hour. Thank you for coming, meeting us here so we can get through the property. So guys, remember that if it's $5, $10, $25 gift card, something like that, you know, what we did was wherever the location of the property was, if there was a big box store, let's say a Walmart, Target, like you said, a Starbucks or something like that, we'll bring that to the seller or to the person that's opening up the property for us. So that's right on, man. $25 gift card. And that lets them know, hey, you're not only about you. You're not just thinking about yourself and you getting your people in there, but you're thinking about me also. Okay, go ahead, Ron.
Who doesn't love Starbucks? I mean,
right.
I'm not a fan of spending $5 a cup, but a lot of people, again, right? A lot of people love Starbucks. So, and I'm gonna tell you a funny story. That property was in Beaumont, Texas. Beaumont, Texas is over 2 hours outside of Houston. Okay, so that deal was not in Houston. So every time I took a buyer, I would pray to God that this deal would work, because guess what? I'm driving 4 hours, 2 to go, 2 to come back. Right. So I knew for a fact. So I took actually 2 buyers to that deal. The first buyer was a group out of New York, which that deal did not work out with them. The numbers weren't working out with them. The second buyer was a local buyer here in H-Town in Houston. So what we did was that day, it was such a funny story because my wife wasn't feeling well. So, hey, this is the beautiful part about this business. I can do what I want. So I took my kid, I took my 4-year-old with me to show the apartment complex, right? I guess some of his good juju rubbed off on the deal because the deal closed. That buyer bought that deal, right?
Sweet.
So we've got my kid in the back seat. We've got the 2 buyers, one in the front with me, one in the rear, and I'm driving them to Beaumont, which is 2.5 hours, a little over 2.5 hours away. And we're just having fun, building, relationship. At that point, I had already built a relationship with that buyer because we've done small single family deals, and I knew he was a big multifamily head, right? But I didn't know he owned 7,000 plus doors, though. He didn't tell me that because the guy's a very humble guy. He just told me, hey, I buy multifamily. When someone says I buy multifamily, like you said, okay, cool, like that's awesome, right? But they don't tell you an extent like I own, $100 million worth of units. Like he left that part out. Like, hey, I own 7,000 doors. So he knew what he was doing. He was a part of many multifamily associations. So, and he was on the board. So he was a big he didn't tell me all this until we closed the deal. He didn't flex on me till we closed the deal. Like I didn't, again, right? And that tells you a lot about the character of the individual. So long story short, when we were coming back into Houston, those big semi trucks, you always you think of that Final Destination movie every time you're behind these semi trucks. I hate it, man, right? We're behind a semi truck and a rock, literally a rock boulder, falls off the truck onto the road, and I didn't see the rock come. It happened so fast. I went over the rock and my front tire got flat, and we're literally on the freeway. I've got the buyer with me, 2 buyers with me, and then I have my son with me. Okay. Luckily enough, oh my God. First of all, glory to God, saved us.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, we went over a pretty big rock. It was big enough to flatten my front tire, right? So I came off to the exit, and I was probably less than 100 miles away from Houston. I know that because AAA only tows you up to 100 miles. I knew that for a fact. So I called AAA. Okay, we got towed, but before then, I called an Uber for the buyer. Right? Check this out. I didn't want him to wait 2 hours for AAA to come because they were going to take an hour and 30 minutes, 45 minutes to come. I called him an Uber. He got an Uber, left back to Houston. We waited for the tow truck, right? My son and I, and as soon as the tow truck came, took them about an hour and 45 minutes. And we left back to Houston. But that's an insane story. Just to tell you, it blows my mind every time I think about that story. And I haven't told anyone that story until today on your podcast.
All right. So we got the exclusive. Exclusive.
That's what happened on that deal. But check this out. Me having AAA, okay, and Ubering the buyer back to Houston, it cost me $100 for the Uber because we were probably about 9. We were just on the tip, 97 miles away or something like that. So you know how Uber is, right? And then I tipped the guy $20 and stuff like that. But We made over 6 figures on that deal. What is a Starbucks gift card?
Yep.
What is Uber? What is AAA compared to making that amount of money, right? But I did that because I believed in the deal, right? I believed in myself. I believed in the buyer. I believed in the transaction. And I took that leap of faith. And sometimes you need that leap of faith in order to do that. Now, I'm not saying buy Starbucks for every deal, every seller that you do. But if you guys are making a hefty assignment fee, $20 is nothing. And the good news is, Marcus, I wrote that off on my taxes. Come on.
There you go. So it's nothing out of your pocket.
Check.
Yep. But you know what, Ron? The key thing that you said, man, was you believed in yourself. You believed in the deal. And you said, and this is what most people have to understand. It's like, no matter what, I'm going to make this work. You know, so if I have to drive, 4 hours, to make this deal work, I just got to roll up my sleeves and I got to do what I have to do. And that's one of the things that you did, so, man, congratulations on you, closing that 6-figure deal.
There's the HUD right there.
There you go. HUDs up.
Yeah, we got the HUDs. Total finance was, here we go, $2.8 million. I'm cutting myself short. That was a $2.8 million. You see that right there? There we go.
I see it. So, man, what is next then, Ron? I mean, you have the call center. You're doing, multifamily, 6-figure, 7-figure multifamily deals. You're doing all of the stuff in Houston. What's next? I know you said that you were in other markets. What were some of the other markets that you're in?
Yes, so we are in another market in Texas. Florida, and then Georgia also.
Gotcha. So how did you go from Houston to these other markets? How did that transition look like?
So whenever we're doing deals in Houston, we do it virtually also. It sounds weird, but we don't look at the property before we go out and make an offer on the property, because we have such a good enough idea. We are even doing deals virtually. So we basically have a CRM that's integrated. It sends out, everything is tracked, right? So it's all the systems, the tools, all the processes. We submit the information into our CRM. It sends out the seller the contract. Seller signs it, goes to title company automatically, and then we get a copy of the contract also. Title company has earnest money already. They've got checkbooks there, so they line them up, right? And we don't pay more than $10 per property. I don't ever buy a deal that's and we buy deals for $10 all day. Day. Yeah. So a lot of people say,
so when
hey,
you say $10, that's your earnest money deposit?
Yes, $10 earnest money. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So sometimes sellers have issues with that, but we know how to overcome those, right? If we have $1,000, sometimes right? We all have the seller that wants three grand, right?
Right.
$2 grand or $1,000, right? There's so many things you can negotiate in a deal. It's not always the price. It could be the closing cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be there's so much stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going blank right now. So, but the price is not the only thing that you can negotiate. You can negotiate the terms on a deal, right? Sometimes we help we help sellers move out of the property with a truck. So we negotiate those terms also. We also negotiate option periods. There's so much stuff you can negotiate on a deal. It's not always the price. And remember, this is about bringing value to the seller. At the end of the day, we always want to create a win-win-win situation, because we are dealing with motivated sellers.
There you go. So tell me, Ron, what's next? What are you guys looking into next, man? We're going to start wrapping up here, but I want to know, where are you going next? Where are you headed?
So our next phase in my career is going to be we've just launched into the education business of this, the education sphere, right? The reason why I did that, Marcus, is really not, yes, the money is great in education. Don't get me wrong, like that's cool and all, but I have noticed since we started the education platform a couple of months back, it's about impacting people's lives. And the problem is there's so much online. YouTube, Instagram, shiny object syndrome. Look at my Lambo. Look at my private jet that I just rented for the hour, right? And a lot of people get attracted to that type of stuff, right? And don't get me wrong, at one time I was also attracted to that. Like that's the lifestyle and stuff like that, right? But this is truly about impacting people's lives. We have many students who are coming in, absolutely crushing it. Many of our students are realtors also. Realtors think they know it all, but when they get into wholesaling, they don't. I mean, it's just their mind is blown, right? It's a whole different ballpark. I have people who haven't done deals who come out and they're doing $15,000 their first deal, right? One of my students is making over 30 grand on their first deal. And you know, we're out there, we're teaching people how to do this business the right way. The problem is, right? The problem is you got to have the correct knowledge in order to execute, right? You don't know what you don't know. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned, especially dealing with wholesalers, because wholesalers will send us deals to Dispo. We run one of the largest disposition outlets in Houston, and that's how I was able to build my business, is reverse engineer my business. I went out and I looked for the buyers first, and then I went out and looked for the deals, right?
Gotcha,
so I reverse engineered. I've reverse engineered my goals and I've reverse engineered my business. So we are, you know, we're super successful in dispoing deals for other wholesalers. And that's one thing that I noticed when I sat down with these wholesalers is like, hey, Ron, man, I just joined a mastermind. I spent 20 grand. What do I do next? I'm like, wait, what? Why you weren't they supposed to ask? Weren't they supposed to answer that question for you? Like, why are you asking me? Like, I don't. Yes, I'm gonna help you out. So for years, Marcus, until this time, till this day right now, we give a lot of information out for absolutely for free. If somebody messages me saying, hey, Ron, I've got a question about this, I won't say, hey, go join my program and then I'll answer your question. No, because that's what I was getting when I first started, right? And I wanted to bring something different to people. And we've had such phenomenal success. A lot of our clients are building 7-figure businesses. We're helping them build 7-figure businesses, right? I'm showing people how to actually build an entire operation from the CEO to the COO to the general manager to the acquisitions, junior acquisitions to the TC. You got to know how to build an actual. We help people build companies at the end of the day. The deals are going to come, but this is about leaving a legacy for people. And that's what it's all about for me. I mean, I can go out there and get the Lambos and flex on Instagram and do all this, man. But no, my goal was to buy my family a house. My goal is to put food on the table, right? My goal is to build a legacy for my kids and for my family. That's all I care about. That's my Lambo right there.
That's it. That's it. That's what's most important, is that family legacy and leaving it for your next generation and a generation after that and a generation after that.
You gotta break the generational curse, man. A lot of people have a generational curse, right? It's crazy because we are taught as children, as generations. Some people are taught to be broke, right? And that broke is a mentality. Again, broke is a mentality, and that's one thing that yes, I don't want to raise entitled brats. That's not what we're doing, right? We're going to teach them the value of a dollar. But at the end of the day, like, that's not the, I don't want my kids to have to worry about, man, do I need to get a job to pay for college, right? No, we've got the IRA set up. We've got their student, account set up with Quest Trust Company. So we have things, again, I'm doing what the wealthy are doing.
Yep.
The wealthy leave back legacies, right? Wholesaling, wholesaling will make you rich. You're going to make a lot of money in wholesaling, right? But your character comes out with what you do with that money, right?
That's
because
right.
It's such a cash intensive business. You can spend that money and then you got to go out and look for the next deal. So you got to, the reason why people get into real estate is to build wealth, and that's what we're doing. So we have our rental portfolio. We have great success with that. Now I'm looking. I've been asking questions on Section 8. So I might want to do a little Section 8. I don't know,
Okay.
but I don't know. The government, can't trust them. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But
Right.
Hey, it is what it is.
So Ron, we are going to put you on a hot seat, man. We're going to put Ron on a hot seat right now. Ron, starting over, what would you do differently?
Okay, starting over, what I would do differently is that's a good question. Damn, that is a hot seat question. Okay, starting over, what I would do differently is I would say, grow more. Because when I got into this industry, I was kind of like a lot of people say, man, I know what to do. I don't need help. Seek help. There's a lot of people who are out there who are willing to help you grow without, without anything in return. And like I said, I'm one of those type of people. So if you guys have any questions, reach out with questions. You don't know what you don't know at the end of the day.
That's true. What is your greatest commodity outside of capital?
Family.
Okay.
You can't put a price on family, man. That's, the legacy.
And I'm sure that what drives your ambition? Is your family and the legacy also?
Hell no, it's my H1 Hummer that's parked outside. We're looking to. I'm getting my private pilot's license now. And I look to buy my own plane in about a year or so. So I want to buy a 4-passenger little private plane. So goals, man. My neighbor bought a Cessna. I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses.
All right, there you go. There you go. What's your biggest and greatest challenge, if it's internal or external?
The biggest challenge, I think, is myself. At the end of the day, your worst enemy is the man in the mirror, because you'll be able to, you can motivate yourself and you can demotivate yourself quickly. Entrepreneurship is a very lonely road, right? You got to find the right people to connect with. So that way that road gets less lonelier. And I think that's what it is. My biggest enemy is myself, because what goes on in my head, nobody knows about. And this is a deadly weapon. You guys have to understand, this is a tool and a weapon at the same time. And you have to condition your mind in order to be successful in this business, because it is a lonely road at the end of the day. And that's probably the realest thing you'll hear on this podcast.
Yeah, it's definitely between the ears, guys. You got to stay positive, got to stay motivated, got to tell yourself the right things, because your mind is conditioned to always think the negative. So you gotta switch that thinking. Ron, what's the latest real estate book that you've read that you would recommend someone?
The latest real estate book that I've read, it wasn't really real estate, but let me see here. I actually enjoy this book here.
What you got?
High Performance Habits, Brendon Burchard.
All right.
That's a great book. That's definitely a great book right there. Of course, when I first started out, the book that I really read was this book right here, Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. Okay. I had an opportunity to be a part of Dean Graziosi's mastermind. So he runs a pretty big mastermind out in Arizona. So it was pretty cool. He signed my book right there. So he's pretty cool guy. Yeah. So I was a part of Dean's mastermind. A wonderful human being. They practice what they preach, and I think he's doing a lot of stuff with Tony Robbins. And this business is all about self-development. You asked me what I would do different. I would work on myself for sure, because I had to learn that the hard way. We as humans think we know it all. We don't. We don't know it all. And at the end of the day, is building yourself and building that character. Be prepared for the good to come. Right, the law of attraction. I'm big on that. And I studied the law of attraction when I was quite young. I got introduced to network marketing when I was a young cat. And I didn't do network marketing. I did it for a little bit of time, but the teachings that I got from that industry was like, the secret. That's when the secret had come out, and how the wealthy think and blah, blah, blah. So that's what I took away from that. I did well in network marketing. I became a director. I started recruiting people. Again, I was young, ambitious. I was looking for the next best thing. I had many failures. I already had many failures before I started wholesaling. Wholesaling is not my first business.
There you go, guys. So Ron, I know there's tons of ways to get in contact with you, man. I want to make sure our listeners have an opportunity to get in contact with you, man. How can we find you? How can we reach out to you via web or however it may be?
Yes. So I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. We're all over on social media. So my YouTube, my handle is the same all across. It's going to be at Ron Rana 1. So RONRANA 1. Okay. My email is info@investopiaonline.com. So that's info@investopiaonline.com. That's my personal email. Comes to me. So if you guys have any questions, shoot them out to me. Shoot me a message on social media. I love to interact with people. Like I said, man, this is about building people up and helping people, helping the next person up. That's what your true success is.
There you go, guys. You hear it from a very successful real estate investor, wholesaler, apartment flipper, and many more. So reach out to Ron. That's Ron Rana 1 across all platforms, guys. Ron, I want to thank you, man. You gave quite a bit of information, good information. I appreciate you coming on, taking your time, to really speak with us and speak to the We Love Equity listeners. So in parting, man, what is one thing that you can tell somebody that's kind of on the fence, don't know if they want to do it? What would you give them in parting? Last words.
Last words, and remember this: fail forward, fail fast.
All right, guys, there you go. Fail forward, fail fast, and remember, for me, always to enjoy the journey.
Absolutely. And adding to that quote, as far as the journey goes, a lot of people don't realize it's the journey that counts. They think about the end result, but people forget it's what happens in the journey that defines you. So remember that. Enjoy your journey is very important. You have to recognize the journey.
All right, guys. Okay, we will see you on our next We Love Equity Real Estate show.
Thank you so much for having me, brother. Ron Rana signing out.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for listening to today's show. I picked up some great actionable items, and I'm sure you did as well. If so, let me know. You can always reach me via social media at facebook.com/MRCSMaloney, Twitter @MRCSMaloney, and of course, IG @MRCSMaloney. You can also always reach me via email at mmaloney@equityri.com. Make sure you reach out to our guests as well. You can always find their contact information in the show notes below. If you have not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Join the family. And while you're at it, leave us a 5-star review. This is how we tell if we're providing you with what you need for your journey. If there's someone you would like for me to interview, or if there's a subject matter you would like for me to cover, please let me know. Finally, if you're looking for additional information about real estate investing, go to equityrealestateblog.com. Also, youtube.com/Marcus Maloney. Until next time, family, always enjoy the journey.